Stop drinking caffeine if you want to reduce your PMS symptoms. If you watch until the end of this video, you will understand how caffeine impacts your hormones, and you'll have some wonderful alternatives that you can work with to feel naturally energized throughout your day. If you haven't subscribed yet, do so now and make sure to hit the bell to get notifications every time I post a new video on menstrual cycle health and fitness. I used to drink some form of caffeine, usually coffee, on a daily basis. And those were the days when I was super wonked out of energy. I had crazy PMS symptoms, and I had blood sugar issues as well. I had constant cravings, and I know so many of you can relate. And now I live in a body where I don't have cravings, where I have sustained energy, and I've reduced my PMS tenfold. So let's dive in. The first way caffeine disrupts our hormone production is cortisol. Okay, so I have some research papers for you. This one is talking about caffeine and cortisol levels. It was by Lavallo et al. So what this study was saying is that when we drink caffeine, our cortisol levels are not normal. In fact, there's no cortisol level. They call it an abolished cortisol level, and I'll explain why cortisol is so important next. So their conclusion for the study was that cortisol's responses to caffeine are reduced but not eliminated in healthy young men and women who consume caffeine on a daily basis. So what does this mean? It means that coffee creates a dependency. Cortisol is a hormone that helps you wake up in the morning. And when we drink coffee, especially in the morning, our cortisol levels are being abolished. Our cortisol is not functioning properly, and we're not allowing it to, which just leaves us more tired and more dependent on coffee. So think about this in your own cycle. If you are having days where you're repeatedly feeding yourself caffeine, not allowing cortisol to operate properly, how do you think you'll feel when your body is PMSing and even needs more support, but you're giving it something that only supports it temporarily? How do you think it's going to feel? So now another research study on caffeine and blood sugar. This was by Shi et al. And what they found was that acute caffeine ingestion reduces insulin sensitivity in healthy subjects. Thus, in the short term, caffeine might shift glycemic homeostasis towards hypoglycemia. That means high blood sugar. And high blood sugar, even a temporary high blood sugar, isn't what we want. And here's why. Caffeine itself reduces how well our body responds to and metabolizes the sugar that we eat. Caffeine, like I just said, will raise our blood sugar temporarily. And this is why we can go without eating when we're drinking caffeine. It gives us a false sense of energy. But we all know that 2 o'clock slump. When the blood sugar dips, what happens? Hangriness, irritability, you have little discernment on what to eat. Don't tell me you don't, because I know you do when you're hangry. The 2 p.m. slump, which I already mentioned, and a need for more sugar. So we're creating a dependency. We're creating a beast that needs to be fed. And going without eating is an issue all month long, but becomes even more of an issue in the luteal phase when you're burning more calories and actually need more food. And so this can play into your PMS symptoms as well when you're relying on caffeine and going without eating. Next, we'll talk about how regular coffee consumption impacts estrogen. But first, I want to know what your favorite caffeinated beverage is here. No shame. I love coffee. So tell me what you love in the comments below. So your caffeine and your hormones. This was a really cool study by Philippe, I hope I'm saying that right, et al. And they studied women in groups of Caucasian women and other races as well. And what they found was that caffeine was associated with reduced estradiol among white women, whereas caffeinated soda and green tea intakes were associated with an increase in estradiol concentration in all races. So why is estradiol so important? Estradiol is the main type of estrogen a cyclical person creates. And too much of this estrogen leads to an excess of estrogen, which we don't want, and too little estrogen results in a reduced amount of cyclical estrogen throughout your life, which could compromise your bone and cardiac health later in life. So having too much estrogen will lead to estrogen-related PMS symptoms like cramping, like moodiness and irritability. which I'm sure we've all experienced. So this is a study by Wesselink et al. And this group of researchers studied caffeine on fertility. So what they found was that there were slight reductions in fertility among females when they drink caffeinated tea, and caffeinated soda and energy drinks were associated with reduced fertility in males as well. So caffeine reduces fertility is what we know. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get pregnant if you drink caffeine, but it is one of the factors that can reduce fertility. So now you have the information. Now let's talk about some alternatives that you can have that'll make you feel just as happy and even more energized. So I would be remiss if I told you how bad caffeine was for you, but didn't give you any alternatives. So here are mine. My favorite is Tulsi tea, and you can find all these links in the description below. And Tulsi tea is an adaptogenic herb, which makes it so great for bringing our adrenals back into balance. Our adrenals are where cortisol is made. So if we've been drinking a lot of coffee, we need our adrenals to be nourished. Tulsi tea is something that I drink almost every day. I grow it in my garden, and I can't say more about how amazing Tulsi tea is. So that's one herb that'll help bring your body back into balance. The Dandy blend as well, again, a link is below. The Dandy blend is what I used when I was first getting off coffee, and I actually really, really loved it. I didn't realize that it had gluten in it, so this is not for gluten-free people. The last thing I'll mention is the 4-Sigmatic blend. This blend, I think, is great for people who need energy. It's an adaptogenic mushroom blend. Again, there's an adaptogenic tea, and then there's an adaptogenic mushroom blend called 4-Sigmatic. And I think that's really great for people who need energy and have been a little bit dependent on coffee. If you're trying to solve your PMS symptoms, seriously, don't do it alone. We are stronger together, and I would love to help you. You can book a free call with me using the link in the description below. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to be notified every time I post a new video on menstrual cycle health and fitness. I'll see you next time.